Has golf made you change how you skate?
What's funny is I got made fun of this the other day. I like took a slam and like kind of got like my lower back a little bit. And I like walked off to the side and I was kind of stretching. And I took a couple practice golf swings at skate park. I was like, is this gonna hurt for tomorrow? And this younger kid looked at me and he was just disgusted.
All right, time for another episode of the
Vanity Index podcast.
I'm Wells, and that is
Chad Mumm. Hello, hello.
Dude, how you doing, bud?
Doing great. Doing really good.
You're kind of flexing with a hat right now, and I gotta say, I'm happy to see it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. You know, there's a thing on the back. It says Gilmore.
Yeah.
And this is an actual movie worn prop from a little film called Happy Gilmore 2.
When does that come out, by the way?
I think July 26th or 25th.
Okay.
Oh, one of those two.
Yeah.
It's coming out soon.
Is it a theatrical release or is it a streaming?
Oh, no, sir. This is 2025. This
Yeah.
is straight to streaming on Netflix.
And he's got that big deal with Netflix anyways, right? Like a 10-picture deal.
He does well. Yeah. Netflix. Yeah. There's a lot of people at Netflix who will do anything that Adam says. And rightly so, honestly. He's earned it.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, super pumped about the show today. This is a guy that I played with a bunch. One of the most stylish and respected skateboarders in the game, from winning street league championships to representing some of the biggest brands in the industry. Our guest today has built an incredible career with his smooth technical style and undeniable passion for skateboarding.
You could say the same thing about his golf swing.
Yes, that's very true. Whether he's filming mind-blowing video parts or traveling the world with the best in the sport, he continues to inspire skaters everywhere. Please welcome to the Vanity Index podcast, Sean Malto.
Thanks for having me, everybody.
I want you to know that I put that into ChatGPT, and that's what happened.
Wow, really?
So that's what ChatGPT thinks of you.
Yeah,
which
they
is
just
nice.
ChatGPT hasn't seen my golf swing yet, so might be a couple shanks in there.
I don't know, dude. I think we got to start every episode with our celebrities as the first question, what is your index?
My index right now, I think I'm at a 2.6.
No, he's better than that.
I heard. Didn't you shoot in the 60s at a tournament?
Okay, so I gotta actually clear the air about this a little bit.
Okay,
it was a best ball tournament.
Yeah,
and you're playing with a partner. It's a 2-man team. I didn't think they counted that. I didn't think they would post it.
Yeah.
So if I was out of the hole, if my partner was in, I just picked up.
Yeah.
Right? And so they carded a 66 on me, and it was a tournament score, so they posted it twice, and that just crushed my handicap.
Rude. That's the worst. That's a bad beat. That's a bad beat, dude.
But I will say, not trying to brag, but I was playing good, but I did shoot a 69 the next day, so I wasn't too far off.
All right, there you go.
Yeah.
What was your handicap when you started this run of good golf? Were you you always been like low single digits?
Yeah, I mean, when I started this run, I was probably in like a 6, and then I joined Lakeside with you guys. And this is kind of the first time I played a course over and over and over and over again. So, you just start to learn it. Obviously, I don't know if you guys talked about our course rating on here, how nerdy we want to get on golf.
Oh, you can go as nerdy.
Yeah.
This is the podcast.
Yeah, our handicaps don't travel well.
No, our course rating isn't like probably lined up the best. So it dropped to a 3 pretty quick, and then it went to a plus 0.6.
Oh, that's horrible.
And when it went to a plus 0.6, I think I got more phone calls from people to get into games than ever. Everybody was trying to take money off me.
Oh man, you can get snaked hard. I had a run like that this summer and got down to like a +2, and it was awful. It was there's no way I was a real +2. We talked about our course is not. It's a lot easier than it's rated for sure, especially when you play it every day and you know the misses.
Yeah, and then like people like us, we have other jobs than golf. So
that's right.
We'll catch a streak of playing every day for 2 weeks, and then you leave for 2-3 weeks, and you come back, and then you just get crushed.
Get destroyed.
Let's talk about your job, because you have a very interesting job. You are a professional skateboarder. how did you get into that as a kid? And then when did golf come into the world?
So what's funny is I started skating and playing golf pretty much at the same time.
Really?
Yeah, I started when I was 10 years old. I have 3 older brothers. One of them just picked up a skateboard. I kind of followed him into it. But my dad has always been a big golfer. So my dad put me in golf lessons when I was 10. You know, skating's definitely a lot more accessible and easier. You just get a board and you can kind of do it anywhere. Golf, you gotta have a little bit of a setup. So I just stuck with skating, and when I started to kind of get into skating, golf was like not cool.
Yeah.
So I had to sneak it
We
from
remember.
my friends. Yeah.
I remember.
I remember
sure.
being like my friends like, you coming skating today? I'm like, no, I think I'm gonna chill. They're like, what are you doing? I'm like, just hanging out. And then I'd sneak off to the golf course.
Yeah.
But I played for like a year when I was 10.
Did you play in high school?
No. So
Okay.
I actually, from like probably from 10 to 11, I played golf, and then I didn't touch a club from 11 till 20.
Whoa.
And I just skating kind of took over. When I was 15, I got sponsored and I started to travel. And by 16, I was already making money, and it was like a job. It was a career from that point on. So I remember coming back into town. My brother's a pretty good golfer as well. He played through high school and then continued to play. And he was like, why don't you come hang out with us and play golf? And I was like, all right, I'll come out. And I sucked so bad. And there's like the little brother syndrome, right? Where like you can't be left behind. So when I was 20, I came back, played with my brother. He crushed me. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to practice and practice and practice and try to get better than him. And through that process, that was it. I was hooked.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's interesting too, like being a pro skater, it comes in so young, you know, there's a lot of similarities between, I think, skating and golf in terms of the careers you have and how early you can be really good. Like you started skating when you were 10, you said, like 10, 11, and you were pro by 15.
Well, I was getting paid. I was basically, so how skating goes, it's like, you get on flow, which means companies send you product for free, but that's about it. You're kind of like a little bit of like a billboard to them in the local community. So at 13, I started to get free product from Girl Skateboards and DC Shoes at the time. And then when I turned 15, they call it AM, which means you get paid a little bit of money, you go on some trips, and then pro is when you get signature product. So 18, I turned pro. My name was on a board. I was making royalties from that. So it's kind of like the gradual steps I took. But yeah, at 15, it was fully like on the road, dropped out of high school, started just like skating and hanging out.
What do your folks say when you're like, I'm not going to go to school anymore, I'm going to do this thing?
Well, you know, it's like trying to convince your parents that you're going to do homeschool.
Yeah.
You're selling them on it. You're like, listen, I'll do it.
I'll do it. Just put me in homeschool. I'm just going to go on the road. My mom actually saw the opportunity.
Really?
And she was like, very like, all right, this is kind of a once in a lifetime thing. You know, it's not an opportunity most 15-year-olds get. You know, do you want to travel the world and get paid at such a young age?
Totally.
My dad, though, he went more, he was 25 years in the military. So that was like a real hard thing for him to grasp. You know, he went to West Point. He went through like this very kind of stock road of where you go. I mean, he did it very well, but he hated it. But, you know, by 16, he didn't really have to pay for anything for me anymore. It was kind of all, I was like basically self-sufficient as myself by 16. So he was like, oh, this is kind of cool.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, it's proud of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The intersection of skating and golf, I think, is one that probably people don't think about, but I can totally see it now. You know, skating to me is just a whole lot of failure and like a couple wins, right? Like you work on a trick and you do it a million times, and you don't land it, and then finally you do, and you know that's the shot that you've got for TV and stuff. And the same thing with golf. It's like you're always failing, except every once in a while. And I've played with you so many times now, and I even mentioned it last time we were with Santino, where I was like, it's so funny to play with both of you guys because Santino gets so angry, and he's just like an angry Chicagoan. And then it's Malto who's like the most even keeled. Do you think of yourself as that type of golfer who's like really, really chill? And do you attribute it to like your background in skating?
I mean, yeah, I would say I'm usually a pretty chill person just in general. I think that comes out. I mean, in skating too, people run hot as well. But for me, I'm like, man, we all suck at golf. Like golf is so hard. It's so hard. And in skating, it's the same way. It's like skating is just, I think skating's one of the hardest things in the world. And, you know, just been doing it for so long, but you just fall so many times and you do everything right and get a bad result. And that's kind of the similarities in skating and golf. And the one thing I like really love about both things is like you can't ever win. You know, that's the cool part, right? So skating, and when I get to a spot, I run through kind of my routine and like look at things I could do. And there's always that in the back of my mind. Like even if I get the trick I wanted, afterwards I'm like, I could have done it like this, or I could have done that. And I can evolve from, you know, the peak of what I think. And golf's kind of the same way, right? Like you shoot your best round, you shoot a 68. And then you go back and you're like, well, I could have made that putt. I actually left a couple out there. And then it's the same thing. You know, you hit a sprinkler head, you hit a good shot in the fairway, being a divot, and skating, it's like you hit a pebble or a crack. And next thing you know, you're eating shit.
Yeah.
You know, we talk a lot about like this show is kind of about golf culture as much as it is about Hollywood and fame and those intersections, how those things go about golf. And I have a company, it's called Pro Shop, and I named it Pro Shop because I always felt like no matter where you were in the world of golf, you could walk into the Pro Shop and feel comfortable and feel at home. And I also I wasn't a skater as a kid, but I was into riding. So I was, maybe it's BMX bikes, but we were doing like street and dirt jumping, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And the skate shop in my hometown reminds me of a Pro Shop.
Totally.
And there's just because there's just a singular culture there. And then everyone who's in there, they're not even buying shit. They're just loitering, especially I'm sure skate shop, there's just,
oh my God,
kids
so
there.
much gear.
There's gear,
100%,
yeah. And so there's something about golf and skating and that culture to me where it's you're always looking at the next, thing you're going to buy. I'd be a lot better with that new driver. It's how about I get some new trucks, some new bearings? For me, it was 3-piece cranks on my bike. I couldn't afford them as a kid, and all the good riders had 3-piece cranks. And I was just just go in there and I just look at them, and be holding them. And they were $350. I was I can't afford this. I'm 15 years old.
Yeah.
It's just the same thing. Then I'd go to the Pro Shop and I'd be fondling the Scotty Camerons, I don't know. What do you think? You think there's similarities?
No, for sure. I mean, the local shops in skating really set the tone for the scene. It's kind of crazy how that is. I used to just wake up in the shop. It's called Escapist in Kansas City, who I still ride for today. I would just roll in and just chill, watch skate videos. Dan Askew, Nick Owen, who own the shop, they would be like, hey, I know you're into this, but why don't you check this out? Look at what this guy's doing. Look at these boards that are coming out. And then for me too, people would come in and take their old boards and switch out for new ones. And I'd be like, what's up with that old board? You slide that over to me? So yeah, I mean, golf's the same way. You can see kind of the different cultures, right? You can see the difference between going into Lakeside versus Riviera versus Woodley Lakes. You could kind of see that culture and how it's kind of set up. And that is a cool thing about golf. The funniest thing to me is I'm being a pro skater for so long. I'm so used to younger little kids nerding out about things. And then when I got more involved in golf, it's older adults.
Yeah.
I remember going to my first golf tournament and seeing these two 50-year-old guys like, oh my God, Rory's on 7. We got to go watch him, and like running up like little kids. And I'm like, this is so funny and amazing.
You see that when the ball gets close to every like the gallery and everyone's, oh my God, and they circle around it,
Yeah.
and they're like, oh, I want to have the front row seat.
For sure. And
Yeah.
I am totally that guy.
Yeah.
Like I still kind of spaz out. I'm like, I gotta be front row.
It's one of those things too. I think like golf like skating is like when you see a pro, it's immediately evident like why they're pro, because like there's a lot of tricks that, I mean, again, like that a lot of skaters can do, but then watching a pro do it and you're like, oh, and it's like that with the golf, like watching a pro golfer hit a golf shot. Like I remember walking down the driving range at the British Open when I was at St. Andrews, and I had like an inside the ropes pass, and I was just kind of like just walking. And you'd literally, if you had a person who didn't know anything about golf, every person you could stand behind and they'd be like, oh, that's the best golfer in the world. Just hearing the sound, seeing the ball flight. And then you'd be like, well, let's walk over to this person. They'd be like, oh, no, that's the best person in the world. And then you get to like Rory, or I remember it was Rory and Brooks. And like, they're hitting it twice as high as everybody else.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh yeah, that actually does look different.
I like was blown away the first time I saw pro golf. Like they're like magicians. It's crazy. I don't get how everything's different.
Mm-hmm.
And that is wild.
Have you ever played with a pro golfer?
No, never like, played around with them. I would love to.
Who would you, if you had to pick like anybody to play with, who would you play with?
I mean, Tiger's always will be up there, but
Might be able to beat him right now.
on an Achilles.
Yeah.
I will say, I think like Rory's swing and kind of how he manages golf courses, like I love watching him play.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's a popular opinion. And I always have love for my guy JJ Spawn.
Yeah.
Only one on tour that can kickflip.
Really?
You guys know that?
No,
Yeah.
I had no idea.
He can kickflip.
Wow.
He used to skate.
He almost just won, right?
Yeah, playoff.
Oh God, that was brutal.
Yeah. Flushed an 8-iron over the green.
Oh,
Yeah.
golf is that's so hard. It's so frustrating. Okay, well, so this podcast is all about golf in Hollywood, but I have a question. So you just mentioned a golfer who's a good skater. Who else in Hollywood can skate?
Um,
Doesn't Tim Robinson skate?
Tim Robinson's good at skating.
Really?
He's like actually good.
Is Owen Wilson good? There was that like kind of viral video where he
Nah.
does a trick and
That was a little
bait and switch.
with Eric Costin.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like Hollywood. Man, I can't think of it off the top of my head. Tim's a good one though. Tim's really good. Blake Anderson tries, but
Yeah.
What about best skater golfer? I mean, that'd be you, right?
So I mean, just off handicaps alone, I gotta be really close. There's this guy, Jack Fardell. He owns a brand called Walker. And he's from Australia, and he's actually really good he's a pro skater, really good at skating and really good at golf too. The best was Eric Costin for a long time.
Huh.
Yeah, Costin was the man. Everyone was chasing Eric, but couple kids, actually 3 kids later,
That'll
golf
happen.
kind of has to
Kill
take
your
the
handicap.
back seat. Yeah.
Relatable. That's why I like work in golf, so I can excuse it for my wife. It's like, babe, it's for work. I gotta go play.
Listen, sorry.
Stephen Malbon, he was like, hey, I'm going to give you one piece of advice. I was like, yeah, what's that? He was like, figure out how to play golf 5 times a week and provide for your family. I was like, okay, thanks, Steve.
Like you are very stylish. Like you have a very unique style that you kind of bring onto the course, which is like this. It's got a skater flair to it, but still like classy. Is it something that you think about? Like, because I do think about like what I'm going to wear tomorrow, like making sure things are, the shoes match the belt, match the hat, whatever like that.
Yeah.
Do you think like that? Or is it just like you're just always look good?
So, like what I think about, so how skating works, and kind of how we like always have operated is we don't ever want skating like what we skate in to feel like a uniform, right? Like it's not like, okay, you put this on, you go skating, and then you take it off, and then you go to dinner, go to the bar, or whatever. It's like one thing. It's like what our style is in life kind of reflects on what we wear in skating. And I've just tried to take that approach to the golf course. So, there are times, obviously, you're playing a high level country club, you got to adhere to their rules.
Was that an issue when you joined Lakeside? Because it is kind of an older club, tuck in your shirt, hat's always forward, belt, all that kind of stuff.
100%.
Yeah.
So that is like a learning curve for skaters to be in that position, for sure. Coming from, my course I play all the time was Woodley Lakes, and they could care less about what you do. But yeah, so Lakeside, it was like, it's a country club. It's like you gotta shirt tucked. You gotta like be in this kind of box. So it's like, how do I get that style that's authentic to me and still kind of fit in that lane? Which I think Malbon Golf has done a great job creating apparel pieces like that. Nike Golf has a new line that's coming out that looks great. That's kind of that kind of similar vein of like, I look like a golfer, but I also like have my style and when I walk off the course, I can go grab a drink or go to dinner, and people are going to be like, okay, so he is a skater still too.
Yeah. I think like seeing you out there, it's like, it's awesome that we have a pro skater as a member of this club, which is super sick. But we also have a lot of athletes, and I feel like there's like there is like a changing style vibe. So it's been cool to see like a guy like you who can, like you said, there's a box you kind of have to fit in, but you still look totally you. And then you can see a guy like Blake Griffin who's out there who kind of does that too, or like even Joe Hayden. It's like they look like they're dressed for a private club, but like they do it with some flair. It's cool.
It's like Lakeside's like, look, here's kind of our box. Like we're still trying to be a traditional golf course, right? And if you kind of just stay in here, you can do anything you want.
Yeah.
As long as you just kind of keep it in this.
Keep it in the rails a little bit. Yeah. Well, let's talk about, so we just talked about a couple other celebrities, but so you haven't played with a pro golfer, but I know you play a ton of golf with celebs.
Yeah.
So who do you think's the best celebrity golfer you've ever played with?
Best celebrity golfer. Who would that be? Hold on, let me think about this.
Take your time.
Yeah.
While you're thinking, these cameras.
You know what? I'm gonna say somebody that, I know you probably talk about his golf swing a lot, and he's a good friend of all of ours, but Andrew Santino is good at golf.
He is.
That dude can play, especially when he's on. It's impressive to watch. Hits the ball far. Great putter.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely runs hot though. He's screaming at us.
I wanted to have him on the show so badly because I talked to him about this when we were playing all the time. I'm like, you're so positive to me and my golf swing and what's happening with me, and you're so negative to you.
Yeah.
Like you need to be more positive to you. Like you need to be nicer to yourself. I think your scores would be better. And he's like, I can't do that.
Nah, that's kind of how he operates, right? It's not, he only has one speed. Another one who I've played with is Michael Pena.
Oh,
really good.
Pena
golfer.
is good.
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah.
I've never played with Pena. I've seen him swing. Good swing.
And
yeah.
he will nerd out about every aspect of golf. But yeah, so we played around together, and then we played a few rounds together, but he'll go to the chipping range for hours and just work on shots. And like he's like really kind of in tune with like practicing and figuring it all out. But yeah, he'll shoot even par, no problem.
Wow. We'll have Pena on the show.
Yeah,
Get him in
absolutely.
there. So you mentioned earlier you played your first tournament. Like, did you compete? Do you ever, like, are we talking about member guest tournaments, or are we talking about like you as an individual stroke play? Have you ever played like as yourself play your own ball stroke play tournament?
No, never have done that in golf. I would love to. And it's Kelly Cups, your own ball, right?
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks because I'm out of town for that. But no, I never have done like a straight up mid-am or anything.
Yeah, tournament
like
golf.
I've looked at some of the schedules and like looked at like trying to like qualify and but still haven't pulled the trigger. I'm such I mean, just how skating goes, and I know like what it takes to be good at something like that, especially under the gun. I kind of obsess in my head about practicing and making sure I'm ready for it because
Yeah.
I hate being bad at
Yeah.
something, especially like that.
What's your practice regimen like for skating? Like how often are you practicing?
These days, I'm about 4 days out of the week. I'm 35 now. I gotta have some rest days in between.
And you've been doing it for what? It's been 20 years, right?
Yeah.
Or as a pro for 20 years.
I've been traveling with companies, skating, getting paid as a career for 20 years. Yeah.
Has golf made you change how you skate? Like, I know this is a silly question because your job is skating, but I would be scared that I'm like break my wrist
Yeah.
skating because then I wouldn't be able to go play golf. Do you like say like, I don't know if I want to try that because it might screw up like my shoulder and I won't be able to swing?
I don't want to get kicked out
Put
of the
him on the
skateboarding
spot,
community.
Wow.
I will say what's funny is I got made fun of this the other day. I like took a slam and like kind of got like, my lower back a little bit. And I like walked off to the side and I was kind of stretching and I took a couple practice golf swings at skate park. I was like, is this going to hurt for tomorrow? And this younger kid looked at me and he was just disgusted.
Old man.
Yeah. He's like, that's what you care about, huh? Yeah, well,
What does skateboard practice look like?
honestly, it's skateboarding is no rules. You know what I mean? Some people will. Well, what I will say is like how skating operates is a lot of it is filming video parts and shooting photos and going on trips for companies and filming stuff out in the streets. So that'll entail like, oh, there's a 10-stair rail and we'll be in Berlin. They're like, there's a 10-stair rail a few blocks away. We'll go there. And then you'll think about the best possible trick you can do on that rail. And so when you're kind of practicing, you're just like, if it's for a trip, you're just like staying in the moment. You're like skating kind of everything. You're really just like keeping sharp.
Mm-hmm.
Making sure you're good. So when you get to these opportunities, like you'll be able to handle that situation. Because some of these skate spots too are like unicorns, like you're like, I will never come here ever again.
Yeah.
Or they're going to knob the skate spot or, your security is going to crack down. So you got to be like quick and you got to be precise. So there's that. And then there's the other aspect is skating contest. And we'll get the course, a couple weeks before. And it's kind of the same as golf, right? Like we'll get the course set up and then you'll kind of map out your line and what you're going to do. And then you start practicing those tricks on similar obstacles in the skate park and then get there and you try to execute.
Yeah, it's practice rounds.
Are there like private club skate parks around like LA and stuff that like people don't know about, like the lakeside of skating?
Yeah.
I mean, I'll say the lakeside of skating is Paul Rodriguez's skate park. So he has his own private skate park in Canoga Park, but I've like helped him out with a couple things. I put a cold plunge in there, and so he's like gave me a key, which is nice. Yeah. But it's like an invite only, nobody can show up, which is great. But it's pretty fucking awesome. It's like a amazing skate park, like whole wood paneling on the side. And then he has like a lounge up top that you can watch games, pool tables. He has a whole recovery room, and he also has a smoking cigar lounge in there.
Come on.
Damn.
So like, he basically was like, give me everything I like. Let me put it in this skate park, and then I won't ever have to leave.
Yeah.
So like, if there's a game on, I could watch the game, and then maybe I'll get inspired to skate. Or if I want to smoke a cigar, maybe I'll come here, smoke a cigar, and like, maybe I should skate a little bit, and that might help them in the future,
Yeah, I love that. Like everybody has recovery rooms now. Like you go to on the PGA Tour, they have a workout trailer and they have like a recovery trailer, and there's massage therapists and there's cold plunges and there's like, it's amazing how that recovery culture has just like permeated every possible sports culture. It's interesting.
I mean, growing up, it used to be PBRs.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was like that on the PGA Tour too, by the way.
For sure.
Yeah.
He was asking earlier about like celebrities that you've played with. Do you have celebrities that you haven't played with that you'd like to? Like you're a Kansas City guy, so I imagine like Mahomes is on your list.
Mahomes is really high up on my list. I've actually never played with Kelsey either.
Really?
I've been in like a tournament with him, but we just never matched up. But yeah, so many people. I would love to play with like Obama. That would be awesome. Who I've met at Lakeside, by the way, with Morgan Trent. Yeah.
Speaking of, a good segue. I think this has got to be not real, but these are the handicaps for the presidents. So this is the top 5 best handicaps held by U.S. presidents. Okay, so Trump's number 1 at a 2.8. Do we think that Trump's a 2.8?
Listen, I saw, I never believed that, but then I saw his video with Bryson. He definitely can hit the ball.
Yeah.
Like he can get it out there. There's a lot of long gimmies. So that it's still, look, if anyone in the universe would have a Vanity Index, it's Trump. But also like Trump knows golf. So like, he's not going to be like a +2 because he's going to try to win money. Like, you know, he's like, he wants to be in the low flight.
That's true.
But so like, I don't know if, I feel like that's definitely plausible,
Well,
I don't know
my
what's easy
handicap
for
is like a 3.5 right now. And are you seriously telling me that Trump is better than me at golf? I can't believe it.
I don't know that, but also like you're probably not gonna be playing the same tee boxes.
Yeah, so he's a combo guy. Probably.
And also he's gonna be giving himself 8-footers and like, but just like Sean said, those might have gone in.
Yeah.
I will say, I don't care what tee box it is. I will put my life savings that Wells will beat Donald Trump in golf.
That's true. Fair enough.
I will put my life savings on it.
That's true.
All right. So, and then listen, this is also, I think, BS. Biden being a 6'7".
No way.
No way.
No way.
I don't know if Biden's finishing 9 holes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, especially now, but gotta look at it. Gotta look at the gin.
Are these career lows or just during?
That's a good question. I don't know that.
We'll have to vet that.
JFK? JFK being a 7. I mean, he just looks cool in this picture,
Vanity Index, man. I think I've seen a video of his swing. It's fine.
Yeah.
But like single digit, if you're a president, you're not a single digit. I feel like that's like, you have to at least be single.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I believe it. We'll see.
FDR being an 8 estimated.
Estimated. I don't know. How do you estimate that?
George W. Bush being an 11.
Here you go. Someone who's honest about it.
Yes. I believe this one.
Yeah. 11's like respectable. Like,
yeah, totally.
That's that's believable for sure.
Yeah.
And he loved golf, right?
Yeah. So here's the other thing. So these guys are all members at these clubs in Dallas. So Brook Hollow is this like old Tillinghast course in Dallas, and the Bushes are members there. And it's like, I've played some golf in Dallas, and it is the most obsessive gambling culture, like over the top, insane games. The most money I ever like could have potentially lost on a golf course was in a Dallas game at that Brook Hollow. And I was in the locker like next to George H.W. Bush's locker. And so I believe that he's like, that is not a sandbagged handicap, or, I mean, if anything, it's sandbagged because they play for so much money and it's ridiculous.
What's that? What's the number?
So all right. So here's the game. I'll just like tell you about this game and I want to hear your story about big games because I know you get in the games with some of these guys too. So they play this game in Dallas called the Big Game, and there's about 50 guys who play it. It's every single week. They'll organize a game. It's either at Brook Hollow, Preston Trails. Preston Trail, by the way, another place, a little bit like Lakeside, no rules. Like famously, like you can just be like shirtless in the bar. Like I guess, like everywhere. It's no rules apply kind of place. Mickey Mantle, I guess, used to hit balls naked or something out there, like back in the Mickey Mantle era. It's a legendary spot. Anyway, so they play it at Dallas National, Brook Hollow, or Preston Trail, and there's 3 different games in one. They always play as a 5-some. So everything's bigger in Texas, including the 4-some. So they always play as a 5-some. So the first game is $100 per hole wolf game. So with hammers and birdie doubles. So
Jesus,
that can get to 5 figures within, or 4 figures, like, within one hole. And so that's the first game. So you're always, the teams are always changing. It's high stakes. You re-rack in 17 and 18, whoever's down the most money. That's the first game. The second game within the same fivesome is basically the two balls that are closest to each other off the tee become a team in the wheel against the other three guys. So you'll have two different partners on every hole for the most part. And that's another $100. So then the third game is an individual, they call it the medal. And it's an individual net stroke play event. So they make you like play everything out, like putt everything out. They make you like take every penalty shot. You blow one out, you got to hit a provisional, take your 7, take your 8. And then that one works where whoever the low net score is, it's $100 per stroke off of that net.
Oh my
back down
God.
the chain. So like it gets bonkers. And then they keep it together. You know, there's probably like 2 or 3 big games a week. There's this one big game master who keeps this Excel sheet of everybody's like money list for the whole year. And then they keep their own handicap within the game. So like you might be a 7 or an 8. And actually it's a lot of Skratch guys, but like you might be like a 5, but in the big game, you're like a 1 because you've played well a few times. So you can't sandbag.
Oh,
it.
the handicap is just from
They
that
keep
game.
it within that game.
Got it.
Which I think is smart. It lets the money kind of circle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So and then at the end of the year, they do a big party, and whoever is the leader of the money list like has to pay for the whole party. And it used to be just like dinner in Dallas, and now it's like a whole trip to Vegas, and it's so everyone's like, you want to really come in second, you know?
Yeah.
But there's like there are pros that play in it. I got sent the spreadsheet because I played in it, and they're like, oh yeah, you have access to this Excel sheet, and there's a lot of names that you would recognize, and I know exactly how much money they have won or are down.
Wow.
Well, give me a number.
How much? Like
Someone won.
30,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's the most money you've ever played for?
Like out there, probably like, I don't know, 7 or 8 grand. I've like, I haven't gotten to those like 20 grand games. I'm still on a skate budget over here. I see these ex NFL, baseball, hockey, those guys they go. But I would say I played a big wolf game. Actually, one of the bigger losses I took was, the Cradle in Pinehurst?
Mm-hmm.
We played like a 14 person wolf game on the Cradle.
That's putting, right?
It's a par 3.
Oh, that par 3 course.
Yeah. And I just got cracked. I was just paying everybody out the entire trip. Just going to the ATM, just paying.
How much did you lose? Do you remember?
It's probably, I think I lost like $3,500,
Oh,
which
brutal.
is like,
That's okay.
it's fine. It's like fine, but
It's fine.
on a trip, you're like, I hate this, you know?
You got to tip the caddies, and you're not getting more than like, whatever, $500 out of the ATM at a time. So you got to just be like, you think they'd have like a bank there because you need something bigger.
It's just also too, it's like, wolf can suck sometimes when you're the better of the group.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you like, people pick you always, and then like you somehow duff a shot, and then next thing you know, it's like you're out.
Or you're not getting a shot.
Or you're not
And
getting
so
a
you're
shot.
not getting picked by someone who's hit a great shot.
We played Wolf recently, and I told you the rules that I used to play as a kid, and the way that I played was not the right way. But
There's no such thing as the right or wrong way.
so the way that I always played was it had to be. It was always 5 guys. You didn't play Wolf with 4 guys. And if you are the wolf, you go last. And if you are the wolf and you howl before anybody else hits, then you're going lone wolf. And if you go lone wolf, the bet doubles and you get a half a stroke. But you're going up against 4 guys. So it behooves you to howl in that situation because of the half stroke. And I always like playing that way, but when we played, like we didn't play that way.
Yeah, I don't know your wolf rules, but what I've always done is the wolf goes first.
Yeah.
And then you can howl before you tee off. So it's you versus everybody else, 4 other guys, and the bet triples.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you wait to see everybody else hit and you don't pick a partner and you're just lone wolf, then the bet doubles.
Yeah.
And then obviously if you pick your partner, you kind of play it out. So that's how I've always played it.
I like being able to howl while someone else is swinging, though.
The half
That's
stroke,
fun.
The half stroke thing is a cool idea. It's like
Yeah.
a good little twist. Because if you can manage a tie against 4 guys, it's like you win.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? It's interesting.
Yeah.
I haven't played it.
I've
that way.
never done the half stroke. Do you play you can drop the wolf?
I've played. You can only reject the wolf on par 3s.
Okay.
But
we always play you can reject the wolf.
and it
that
doubles,
gets
right?
Dicey.
And then it doubles, right?
I don't think it doubles because it's still 1 versus 3,
Right.
but it's kind of an asshole.
We always played it. If you drop the wolf, then you're a lone wolf and it doubles because you're confident in yourself. So it just, again, it's like, I kind of think maybe we should rewrite these rules a little bit to get more of that. Like whenever we play wolf, you almost never have a lone wolf ever, unless it's on a par 3. Because there's just too much to risk because you're tripling the bet. So unless you're really trying to come back. But I kind of like this idea of like some variance of like you can drop just instead make the penalty less big because you're already paying out 4 ways or getting 4 bets and then you triple it gets out of hand. I actually so on this note, I played wolf recently. I was actually back in Dallas for a work trip a couple weeks ago, and I learned a new wolf rule that I'd like kind of had never heard before, which was really interesting. And it's about hammering. So I'm assuming you guys play hammers.
Mm-hmm.
So we were playing a team game. We weren't playing wolf, but we were playing like left right. There was 6 people in the group, so we were playing left rights, and then each hole was worth like whatever $10, and there was hammers.
What does that mean, left right?
So you just like 6 balls out off the tee, and then you sort it into the left side versus the right side, and they become teams together.
I've never played that.
It was fun. It's like good way to play with a big group and not have to worry about order and all that stuff. Anyway, but the hammer we were playing hammer game, and one of the guys is an agent for a big golfer, and he's like one of the other people who wasn't the agent. There was like a guy had like an 8-foot putt, for a birdie, and then his teammate had like a 3-footer for par, but the 8-foot putt was like really downhill. And so of course what you would do, the guy on his team was like, I'm gonna go hit my putt first.
Yeah.
And he went to go putt, and the agent was like, whoa, what the hell are you doing? He's like, I'm giving my team, I'm just gonna get it in. So he's like, not in hammer. He's like, dude, you get called out by the pros if you try to do that. Because like it changes the hammer strategy.
For sure.
If you miss, then you might hammer that guy because he's gonna miss, and he can have a 3-putt. And if you're already in for 4, like you can't go out of turn and hammer. And I was like,
yeah, that makes sense.
I never really thought about that. And I was like, how did you hear that? He's like, dude, I was out playing with like a bunch of pros, and I went to go hit, and they were like, you try that shit again, man.
Yeah.
you are dead to us.
Justin Thomas is all flexing on him.
I think it was probably Spieth, but yeah.
For the listeners out there that don't know what hammer is, explain it to them.
Yeah, so it's just a double. It's a doubling of the bet.
Yeah.
So in a hypothetical
Press,
scenario,
effectively.
it's a press. But what's different about a press is typically a press just creates a new bet.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so like if you're playing a Nassau and you press somebody, it just creates a new bet from that point. So you're even. There's just a chance to maybe like win your money back or lose double.
Yeah.
What a hammer is like a doubling of the bet within the hole, and the hammers can get tossed back and forth. At least how we play the game. So like if like I'm on a team with you and Sean's playing with Santino, like we're playing $10 a hole. Any point we always play it. The hammer's like free at the beginning of the match. Whoever throws it first, can throw it whenever. So I'd hammer, like I'm in a good position. So we hammer that team. So now the bet goes to 20. They can either choose to accept it, and now the bet's 20, or they can decline it, which means they just lose the hole. So they lose $10. But then if they accept the hammer, so now the bet's 20, they hold it. So then they somehow get an advantage. We mess it up. They can hammer us back, a rehammer basically, which means again, the bet doubles. So now it's 40, and we either decline and lose 20, or we're in for 40. And so it just is a way to give. There's like gambling stakes for every single hole.
Yeah.
And it really makes you like, it creates pressure putts early and pressure shots early. And I love hammer. Like hammer is my favorite game. I hate playing Nassau's. Like I can't even play a Nassau anymore. I'm all about hammers.
Here's my question. So let's say you're playing against Malto and you hammer him and he accepts your hammer and whatever. He doesn't hammer you back on that hole. Does he own the hammer the next hole?
Some guys play it that way. We don't. We always play it where it just resets to
And anyone can hammer.
You can hammer out of the gate, right?
Yeah. You can stand on the tee box before anyone hits and hammer. Just doubles the bet.
Let's talk about...
That's the funny thing. It's like a $10 bet, and then one hammer goes to 20, then it goes to 40, then it goes to 80, and you birdie for 160.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what like the funny part is about all these games. Like $10 doesn't really mean anything.
No, and then we always play it carries. So like, you push like 8 or 9 holes, and now it's 80, and then you hammer, it's 160, and then you get rehammered, and then you make a birdie. It's just, you can get to big numbers really fast. And it's like,
so I don't like
friendly $10 bet. We'll have to ask Santino about the story about when him and Chris Pratt were playing together, and we waxed them We
Really?
waxed them big. Played a hammer game and it got out of control. And and also I think Charlie Day got over his skis. We'll have to ask Charlie about that story as well.
I mean, I've seen people that don't know how to play wolf get in wolf games, and it is like, I'm like scared for them.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they're like, go lone wolf the whole time. Like this one guy, we were on a trip. There was 5 of us, and he just had no idea what was going on. I was like trying to explain, like, dude, don't do it. Don't. He's like, well, I got to get my money back. And next thing he knows, he owes 4 people $5,000.
Yeah.
And you're like, he's like, wait, that's each?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, dude, sorry.
I tell you,
I
dude.
tried to tell you.
No. Where was that trip to?
That was in the Dominican Republic, Teeth of the Dog.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Do you do a lot of golf trips?
I try to. DR is awesome. I love going to Pinehurst. Carmel was always one of the great ones. I've never done a lot of East Coast golf, or I would say New York golf. But I try to get to Jupiter a couple times a year, and Medalist and Bears Club. And
Have you done Scotland or Ireland?
no,
Yeah.
not a ton of international.
Do you bring your skateboard when you go to like a golf trip?
Depends where we're going, but typically no. But I will bring my golf clubs on skate trips.
I love it. Truth comes out.
Yeah.
Here's a random question that I just thought of. We were talking about gambling. Do you gamble on skating? Like, could you play basically a horse?
Yeah.
Kind of. I mean, we do games of skate, but we rarely gamble. A lot of our gambling is to try to get people over the fear of trying something. So, sometimes we skate these spots that are pretty big, like a 15, 20 stair rail, and people are rolling up and they're a little scared. And even myself, like I'm like, all right, I'm going to do it. And then you don't do it. And you're like, all right. And then people will be like, $100 if you try it right now.
Yeah.
You're like, all right. And then that kind of gets you over the top a little bit. So it's more gambling in that way, but it's never like, all right, 1 versus 1. Let's see who wins.
Hammer.
Yeah. Hammer.
I like talking about different games. Do you guys know, this is the one that I learned at Lakeside, which is Banker. Have you played Banker?
No.
So Banker is a par 3 game. And so everyone gets to be the banker on a specific par 3, whatever. And when it's your par 3, you get to decide what the bet is. So you can say $30, whatever. And the banker so everyone hits, and if you hit a ball and you yell press before the ball lands, you can double the bet. And I don't know if you've played that, but I thought that was a really fun way.
It's super fun, because it gives everybody a chance. So if you hit a good shot, you can double it in the air.
Yeah.
And you can really hurt the banker. Does the banker go last or first?
I think the banker goes last.
Yeah, the banker goes last.
Yeah.
Right. Because then it just stacks up pressure. Because all of a sudden you're playing with 4 people. 2 people hit good shots, they double you in the air, and now you're like standing over, you're like shit.
Yeah.
Because it's banker versus everybody, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like 1v, 1v4, 1v3.
That's interesting.
It's a fun game.
It's very fun.
You know the other game that I learned from Billy Bush at Bel Air that's like, have you ever played Polies? You ever played the Poli game?
Is that?
It's like a putting game.
Oh, outside of the length of the
we
flag
do,
stick.
the Lakeside version of it, they call it what do they call that? They have a different name for it at Lakeside. But anyway, but I played it with Billy, and I had a cool variation, and it's like, we were playing a Nassau, and this was just like stacked on top. And basically the rules are, if you're on the green, you can call poli, and you have to be outside the length of the flag stick. And if you 1-putt, everybody pays you. The bet starts at $10. So if you 1-putt, you get 10 from everybody else. If you 2-putt, nothing happens. If you 3-putt, you pay out $10 to everybody else. And then if you're inside the length, like you can be like right where it's kind of close, and you call poli, and then someone can challenge it and be like validated.
Oh, yeah.
And so then you lay the flag down, and Billy's very specific. It's like from the front edge of the cup, so it's like there's some variance there. But if it's
You're
not
like
a real
pushing into the
poli,
back end.
if it's not a real poli and you're inside the length of the flag stick, you have to 1-putt to not pay everybody out the $10.
Wow.
And what's cool is after every poli that gets validated, so like someone 1-putts or 3-putts, the bet goes up by $10. And so you get a lot of pulley calls, and it's the first one. It's like the first one in. So like you can have multiple pulleys on one hole. So like you and I could put both pulley and both one putt, and it's like I'm paying you $10, and if the second guy gets $20 from everybody, you know.
Yeah.
So and then it goes up, and so you get, you know, we played like a Nassau, a net Nassau game. It was like pretty like chast. I think it was like, you know, it was like 10, 10, 20 or something like that. And you get on we were on the 17th hole, and there was like a $390 pulley payout.
And
like,
that's per person.
per guy. Yeah, it was insane, you know, because it just got like pulley. And on really fast greens, it's absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
Because you just do not want to. And they do auto pulleys too. And I was like, no, we're not going to play that game. But
one game that we would play that I don't see people playing is we do with this like 3-dot game.
oh, yeah.
So it's a high-low game, right? So
Okay.
every hole, it's either you get 1 dot or 3 dots. And it's 2 versus 2, but it's basically, it's like your high score and your partner's low score versus the other two, right?
Yeah.
So 3 people par and 1 person birdies, that's 1 dot because whatever. But say if it's me and Santino pars, I bogey, you bogey and you double bogey, we sweep it because our high beats whatever.
Yeah.
And we would play that game a lot. And then the presses would go from 3 dots to 6, and then 6 to 12. And then next thing you know, you're adding up like 36 dots on the 18th hole. But I like those games where if you hit it, like you hit a bad shot or hit it OB and the other team, one of those guys hits it OB, you're still in the game.
Yeah,
you know
for
what I mean?
sure.
Because there's a lot of games where you play where like, if you hit a bad shot, you're just out.
Yeah.
And I hate that. I like to fight a little bit and like
Yeah.
have a chance.
Yeah. That's what I hated about that Dallas game, because at the back of all of it was that metal thing where
Yeah.
you were like, so you hit one out of bounds and you're like, you have to hit a provision. You can't even just like go and be like, oh, I'm going to drop because I'm out of the hole. It's like, no, like re-tee from this exact spot. Like we're playing rules of golf. It was terrifying. It was terrifying.
So that the Rat Pack game, right? Don't
Yeah,
they do
yeah.
a medal?
They do a metal.
Yeah,
the
so-
metal will kill you. That's why they're so freaking slow.
I played in that game one time, my first time playing in it.
Is this the Gamblers?
The Gamblers, yeah. I hit my tee shot on 2 in the bunker and proceeded to hit 3 shots into that bunker. Just kept hitting the lip, and I made a 9 on 2, and that was it. I was done. It was over.
Yeah,
Like,
you
it
were
was
owing money no matter what.
No matter what, I was out. I even scrambled.
Because it's stroke play they play?
Yeah, scrambled my ass off to shoot a 79 still and got demolished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, so you made it a 9. I was gonna say you were 9 over, and you were
No,
like even
made a
coming in,
9
but
and then
geez.
just like had to hold on.
Oh.
But yeah.
When it comes to Nassau, do you guys always just assume 2 down auto presses?
I do, yeah.
You do?
Same. Yeah.
My only complaint about it is I'm usually the one that has to keep score, and then all of a sudden I don't have enough room for all these different bets that are happening on my scorecard. You know?
You gotta write it inside the little.
You gotta
really
get it.
small.
You know what? I just recently learned to do that inside the actual, just like one line in there.
You know what I started doing?
Nino taught me.
Nino, yeah. You know, I was always whoever gets pops, I was always like a little circle, you know, a little dot in the top right.
Yeah.
To me was my little thing. I started doing little slash through the middle.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yeah, I think I have.
That's a
good.
nice one. You know, they're little squares, you know, the scorecard, and I slash down the middle if you're getting a bob, and then I write your gross score and your net score right there.
Yeah.
And it looks very aesthetically pleasing because all the lines kind of line up, and like the scorecard looks mad clean.
I feel like we're kind of similar. Like I love to get the scorecard, know everybody's things, and make little circles. I love like a clean scorecard
and you
right
get
out of the gate.
A couple circles for birdies on there.
yeah.
Do you
Do you do
box
squares?
the bogeys? Yeah, do you
I
square your bogeys?
don't box the bogeys, but I circle the birdies every time.
I used to box the bogeys, but now these days I'm like, let's keep things positive.
Yeah,
Just circling the
I need to
birdies.
see that.
A lot of boxes out there.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you have a hole in one?
I have one. Yeah.
Where at?
Twin Dolphins. And to be honest, I'm trying to think of it. I mean, again, I don't even know if this counts, but I think it's their 19th hole. So it's like their like settle up bets hole. You
Yeah.
know? Does that count?
Dude, were you settling up a bet?
I was down so it was the worst round I've played. I mean, this was a few years ago, but I think I was partying in Mexico for a little bit. We played around. I think I shot at 87. I was down like $900 and I aloha-ed the whole thing.
Oh
on
my
the
God.
19th
Whoa.
hole.
How far was it?
105 yards playing downhill to like 95. And I had no touch, right? I couldn't half swing a club. So I just got a 60 degree and hit it as hard as I could. And it went in on the fly.
No.
Really?
Slam dunk. Boom. I don't know. I count that.
That's
Yeah.
100% to conclude. It was a playoff hole.
Yeah, it was a playoff hole.
Do you have a scorecard from it?
No.
I was gonna say because you'd have to like make a
where's the
little
19?
extra box to
Yeah.
the right, put a one.
No scorecard.
I don't know. I'm
no.
sorry.
Yeah.
That definitely counts to me. I think that's
I really would love one like inside. You know what I mean? Like
number 6 is where Wells and I both have made hole-in-ones at 6 at Lakeside.
Chad was with me when I did it.
Yeah, he was it was when he was in the process. So I was his sort of host for the day. Thanks a lot.
Wow. There's hole-in-one insurance at Lakeside,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, not for guests.
No.
Yeah, but I felt bad that my sponsor wasn't able to play that day. And so he was like, my buddy Chad's got a game, go with him. And I'm like, yeah, great. And then I make a hole-in-one. And of course, I want to drink and I want to buy everyone drinks. And he had to pay for everyone's drinks that day.
He didn't make
Thanks,
me pay
Chad.
for it. No, he didn't make me pay for it.
No,
He made
Goose.
Christian,
Yeah.
his sponsor. So
Wow.
Yeah.
that's convenient.
Okay, hold on. I wanted to do one kind of social media thing. Are you familiar with Kill Tony?
I don't think so.
He's a comedian that does. He's really good at roasts, effectively. Anyways,
Okay.
this is him talking about golf, and I thought it was just kind of interesting.
Pretty good at this computer thing. I'd be so lost.
To understand what golfing does to you. It appears from the outside that people are drinking and smoking pot and having a good old time out there and giggling around, farting around with their friends. But the touch grass, meditative element, it truly is, like he was saying, like, I'm in such a crazy good mood after golf. Everybody at the comedy club can notice it. Like, it's like an upper... It gives you a massive burst of energy. So like the what am I thinking of? The just the bad reputation that golf has. Like I would want my president golfing a couple times a week, knowing the effects that it gives you. A much clearer mind, a big burst of energy. You would think it would be exhausting walking around the woods or grass for 4 hours, but for some reason it's totally the opposite. It's whether it's the sun, the grass, the this, the that, the differential, going from a powerful thing to a mid-range thing to the delicate touch and accuracy of putting, these repetitive things. For some reason, it's a mind clearer and kind of an energy giver. Whereas video games and other things make you depressed. It's almost impossible to be down or depressed after golfing.
Well, it's certainly a stimulating game, right? Because it's hand-eye coordination, calculation, managing the lay of the land, the way the rolls of the hills are, and all those factors. I think like this is something that I think people genuinely need in life.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that?
I mean, I think that's true.
Yeah.
It's like, but obviously there's good days and bad days. And the game can drive you absolutely nuts, but it is such a good thing, I think, for mental clarity and the walk outside and being with your friends and trying to figure out this impossible game. There is something like very clearing about that aspect of it. And so, yeah, I mean, I agree with him.
It's so funny because it is the most maddening game. It can make you very, very upset. I never say the word CUNT unless I'm on the golf course.
Yeah, it'll drive you nuts.
Yeah,
for sure.
Which, by the way, that's my favorite cuss word on the golf course. I don't give a shit. But he's right though. Like for whatever reason, like even though it makes me so angry and so frustrated and so down on myself, I feel so much better afterwards.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I don't know. I'm like, I have so many different versions of my golf mindset. I hate golfing. I I hate playing golf when I feel distracted by something else. Like a lot of times I have to play golf for work, which is like sounds like the dream job, and it is, and I'm so lucky that I get to do that. But like I'll have like a bunch of things that I have to kind of ignore, and I know my phone's blowing up, but I'm like entertaining a partner or a client or something like that, and I almost like don't want to be there, and I want to like my favorite version of golf is, it's like a Saturday, and it's like you have the day, and you're like, I'm gonna play golf today, and there's nothing else, and you're distracted. You can kind of let yourself be free. And then I also like you guys talking about, it's so maddening. I want to be good so bad, and if like you hit a couple bad shots, if you're not in the flow, it can just be so frustrating and debilitating. But when you get it, when it's dialed right and it's like magic hour and you're out there and you're just hitting shots, there's nothing more freeing and more fun. I don't know.
100%. And I think also like when people say like business is done on the golf course, like I don't think so. I don't think that's the right way. No. Not that I do a lot of business on the golf course, but sometimes you host people and you need to talk about things. And I'm always like, let's play golf and have fun. We'll talk about this after.
Yeah. Every time I've ever tried to do a business chat, it never comes up during the round.
Yeah.
You're just being with someone else.
Yeah.
And then maybe afterwards at lunch or something, you can talk about it. But
someone's like, hey, what's up with that contract on like the 8th hole?
you're like,
come on,
it's terrible.
man. Yeah.
Well, and then weirdly, like even when you're walking, like there's not a lot of like time for long conversations on the golf course, unless you're playing just as a twosome or something, because you're like walking to your next shot, and it's a great way to like get to know someone, because it breaks your little, you're not forced to sit there for like having lunch with someone in some ways is like a pretty high stakes thing. Like if you're meeting someone the first time, it's like, we're going to have lunch or we're going to have dinner. Like you're in there for an hour and a half, 2 hours of just like you and them, and they're getting to know each other. Playing golf with someone, it's like, it's broken up. It's like little, and it's not, it's like 2 minutes at a time, because it doesn't take that long to walk to your ball.
Yeah.
And so you can have a few little, get to know someone, ask a question, ask a follow-up. There's like something to the rhythm of the sport that makes it a great way to get to know somebody in a fairly like low stakes way, I think.
Yeah. I am a big fan of having something to do. Like if like you're with somebody, like playing golf, like you're hitting golf shots, right? Like you have something. But even like my birthdays, I'm always like, let's go to a bowling alley, or make sure there's a pool table or a dartboard, or just some sort of like activity to break this up, instead of just like, hi.
Yeah.
Like what? You know what I mean?
So I like skiing too, because you get like lifts, and you're just like on the lift, and then you're breaking it up. It's like,
you kind of like, you have this moment, and then like you go do something, and then you meet back down, and then it's like repeat.
Do something hard and then get back together and recover.
Yeah. For the business side of it, I think the reason why it gets utilized a lot in golf is not for like making the business deals on the course, but it's finding out about someone. You learn a lot about how someone works, and like their ethics and stuff just by watching them play golf,
No question.
So yeah, I think that if you're deciding on whether hiring somebody or firing somebody or whatever, you go play golf with them, you learn a lot about them.
I've never met an asshole on a golf course who wasn't an asshole in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could be like, they'll make excuses, and they'll be like, I just get real mad when I play. And it's like, I know. It's like you in real life. Like this is who you are, Have you ever like met someone who's like a hothead on the course, and then you're like, oh, they're like not a dick? I mean, like Santino's a hothead, but he's an asshole.
But he's an asshole, and he is himself always,
I love Santino.
And there are people, like they're quiet people sometimes that I like went out golfing with, and I'm like, oh, that's a little different. Like I didn't know you had that side to you, but obviously that side's in there, and other aspects of your life, you just kind of learn, like what you said, you learn a lot about somebody. And it's usually a 4-hour thing.
It was fun recently. So we have this guy who works on our team who runs commerce for us, and he's like he's like really talented executive, but he's like a pretty unassuming guy. He's like pretty quiet, leads a big team. I guess I'm his boss. And we played golf. He was on a trip, Wells. We played golf, and he's just like very quiet and unassuming. He's very organized in his life. We got out there and we played a match, and he was a fucking dog.
Is it Nate?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Nate was like, he's the most competitive person I've ever seen on the golf course, and was like, and just beat the shit out of me at golf. And it was like, basically like, I was embarrassed. I got brutalized. It was so awesome. And I was like, I was so surprised in such a great way. I'm like, yeah, like you've got that dog in him. Like you just see someone who's like, you just know them from professionally, and then all of a sudden you're playing golf with them, and you're like, they are competitive as hell.
Yeah.
He also just doesn't look like he's gonna kick your ass, and that makes it worse, I think.
Yeah.
because Chad looks the part. You
Yeah,
know, like
yeah.
he's got the silky smooth, swing, the cool visor on, and then this guy came in with like socks pulled halfway up his calves, and he just beat the crap out.
You know what the tell should have been is he was playing the Tiger Woods blades. The tail.
Oh
Yeah,
my God,
yeah.
yeah.
And you're
That's
like-
call off the bets.
Yeah, and you're like, this is like could be a vanity thing, and then you're like, you look at them and they're like 5 years old, and there's like the sweet spot's worn out, and you're like, oh boy, this is
Yeah,
gonna get bad.
here we go. I lost money to you actually, because we haven't. Have we played 18 holes together?
No.
But we did have a bet for the 100-hole hike.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So we played what's the hay?
The hay, yeah.
In Carmel.
That's
the
right.
9-hole par 3 course. But we played 100 of those holes in one day for Youth on Course, which was great. But we had a birdie bet. Who could have the most birdies of the day?
That's right. How many did you make? Do you remember?
I think I had like 22 or something, and it
Yeah.
wasn't even close.
Yeah,
Did
it
you
was-
have like 40 or?
I had like it was something like that.
Yeah.
I made a lot,
You made a lot.
but it was but then like I think Grant Horvat had like I don't know, like 48 or something. It
I
was crazy.
mean, it's hard.
Hard
That
not to.
dude
He's
is
so good
on another
that,
level.
That was a really cool event, and honestly, I thought 100 holes. Like this is gonna be like a grind, and I was like, I would have played another 25 holes.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was so fun. It just got dark.
Yeah, but we're like complete crackheads.
Yeah,
so,
that's
true.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
Everybody's like, we got to shorten the game of golf to 14. I'm like, I thought 27's like,
Yeah.
sounds
Sounds good to me. I want to play more golf.
Yeah.
I want to get back out there.
My favorite thing in the world is an E9. Like I think that is the best
yeah.
thing. And if you guys don't know what that is, maybe it's called something different where you're played. But we'll play 18 holes. We'll go get a drink. Maybe feeling a little tipsy and be like, "Do you want to go do another 9? E9, let's go."
Emergency
Emergency
nine,
nine.
whiskey route, you
Yeah.
know, whatever. Just the last couple holes when it's like magic hour. I always feel like you hit the ball best in those nines.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's just like
You
it's
are
the
loose.
best. It's the best feeling ever.
I mean, 3 square meals at the golf course is pretty good, you know? Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you're like, that's a great day.
Yeah.
it's an amazing day, and also someone who doesn't have kids. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
No, but that's what I love about these golf trips because you get to do all that. It's just the best. So
Sean, we got to let you go here in a little bit. Thank you for taking some time
course.
and hanging out with us on the Vanity Index podcast. Before you go, are you ready for some rapid fire questions?
Let's go.
Yeah. All right. Walk or ride?
What was?
Walk or ride?
Oh, walk.
Biggest pet peeve in golf?
Hitting out of a divot.
Favorite course you've ever played?
I'm going Lakeside.
Wow.
Yeah.
love that.
I
All right.
think it's so much fun.
Yeah.
So much fun.
One course you'd love to play?
Augusta.
Get to the course early or get out of the car and straight to the first tee?
Early, always.
Dream foursome?
Tiger. I will say, let's throw Obama in there.
Yeah.
And I would just love to see that Rory swing up close for 18 holes. So
That'd be pretty good.
Yeah.
Swing thought?
get the ball airborne. Always.
Favorite golf movie?
Happy Gilmore, which we got to talk about this second one. I'm a little irritated.
Irritated.
Yeah. Because Kyle Newacek is like, he's not a great friend of mine, but he's a friend of mine.
He didn't put you in the movie?
He never even invited me to the
He's
shoot.
a producer. He didn't put me
I
in the movie.
know. I was like, this.
Kyle.
I'm like, I know you. I know Kyle. I'm like, just waiting for the call. Like, hey, do you want to come? Just be on set. See all these guys.
Oh, no.
Never got the call.
Kyle Newcheck, director of
Yeah.
Happy Gilmore 2. Oh, that's bad. We'll have to call him out.
Favorite club in your bag?
Driver.
Least favorite club in your bag?
Right now, it's the 52 degree. I cannot get it online. I don't know what's going on. I've had Gino, the starter at Lakeside, bend it every which way to try to get that thing right.
Favorite adult beverage on the course?
I keep it on course. I keep it beers. I don't want to get too
Yeah.
loose, but shout out Open Beer. It's at the club now, our beer brand.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Good
Yeah.
stuff.
It is very good. What makes you nervous in golf?
5-foot putts.
Yeah.
I hate. It's like You
Holy.
make them, you get no enjoyment out of making them, and you get so pissed when you miss them.
Yeah.
That's such a great answer too.
Yeah.
It's so
Like
so
when
true.
you make them, you're like, I should, and then
Yeah.
you miss them, you're like, I'm the worst person on the planet.
Best score you've ever shot?
Outside of that round we talked about, 68.
And last one word to describe your game.
How do I describe my game? I'll say, man, I don't know. What would you? I try to keep it smooth at all times.
That's how you described it earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I never try to overswing. I never try to push it too far. I just try to keep it within myself.
Are we playing later today?
I got nothing. I blocked
Okay.
out all day. I'm
Good.
going straight to the
All
course.
right, let's say, what are you shooting today?
Oh,
You're right.
I am going. So I'm putting that new QI 35
Yeah.
in play. I'm gonna go a smooth 77.
All right. Chad?
I'm gonna go 75.
Okay, I'm going to go 81. I'm going to be realistic. Sean, before we let you go, is there anything that you wanted to talk about or promote that we didn't ask you about?
No, thanks for having me. I appreciate you guys.
Where can people find out more about you?
Just Instagram or yeah, I would just say Instagram or I have a couple video projects coming up with girl skateboards, so check it out.
Sean Malto, thank you so much for coming on the show, dude.
Thank you guys.
You're the man. That was awesome.
Smooth.